Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mordor campaign. It is episode 145, I want to say? Yeah, it definitely is. Anyway, we're back. And we have all sorts of things to look at. First and foremost, you know what, again, we'll do the counterclockwise thing. We'll start in Mordor, we'll look up at the dwarves in the east, the west, so on and so forth. I have to say, our recruitment drive, many turns ago, has finally bore fruit. We've basically got a full stack in Minas Morgul, 2 units of Oleg High, all sorts of trash units. We have a couple of units in Emin Arnen that we need to distribute. We have basically a full stack in Minas Tirith. And right now, the primary issue we're going to have is that we don't have any generals to lead the army, which is very bizarre considering the beginning of the campaign, as far as I recall, it was just fraught with the idea that we had too many generals, costing too much money, leading too few armies. And now we actually need, like, there's a sore lack of good leadership in our forces in Mordor now. So basically we've got a bunch of units in Arnak, bunch of units in Emin Arnen, Minas Tirith, Minas Morgul, and we need to distribute them. Currently we have Zagluk. He's going to act as a subordinate to our good friend Lagath the Watcher, who is of course our faction leader, who became the faction leader many moons ago. We have a new general who has been adopted this turn. His name is Radnag. Now Radnag is going to have to head south to act as a subordinate for Zagath. I'm not entirely sure that's what I want to do though. I think we need to stiffen the west, because that's going to be primarily where the bulk of the fighting occurs. So we're going to leave one rogue army led by Zagath, and hopefully he can penetrate into the south, capture Tirith raid without much fight, so on and so forth. We could do a bit of a blitzkrieg here, and then we just need to hold the west. That's my intuition. So we can use the forces in Minas Morgul, Minas Tirith, so on and so forth, to build these forces off camera. Not to mention, we also have a full stack in Dunharrow, which will not be led by Gorbug, but instead will be led by Mogash as well as Gazduff. Looks like PewDiePie here is going to be our military engineer, and Ronnie James Dio is going to be the treasurer, weirdly enough. Very bizarre. We even have siege equipment. That's how far the recruitment drive has gone. It's ridiculous. We have many men, many men. It's basically raining men at this point. In addition, we're slowly receiving our trickle of reinforcements to River Run. 2 turns, I would say, and then we have received the majority, the bulk of these reinforcements, which will then have to, in turn, move north to reinforce Dwarvois, Lord of Terror, who has basically a serviceable army, but not an army I am incredibly confident in. We are going to use these units to reinforce both Dwarvois, Lord of Terror, as well as good old Dondeath the Mad up north. He is going to receive his siege equipment this turn, and that will allow him to capture Wormcoat. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. Motherfuck, you know what I meant to do, but it didn't happen. Like I hoped, so that's been botched. Like a botched surgery. It's painfully obvious and noticeable from across the room how botched that is. Not to mention the siege of Litash, which again was just a horrendous circumstance. That too was botched. It gives me shivers down my spine because how fucking frustrating it was. But we have captured that with little resistance. Good old Adunafel is a single turn away from besieging Coldfells, but his siege equipment, on the other hand, is a good 2 turns away. So we are going to issue that order. Let's get out of the way first. Let's issue that order, rather, and then move him in front. I'm pretty comfortable with leaving Captain Frerin in the rear. He could besiege Hormarath's Folly, but I kind of feel like we could turn around to attack him if necessary. No, I feel like I should I should destroy this little force. So I will... Shit, I'm gonna have to do that off camera at some point. But anyway, we are going to be attacking, besieging, and starving out the garrison of Coldfells. As for Ren the Unclean, he has to continue advancing. He has to continue advancing all the way to Carn Dûm, which is basically... It's garrisoned by about half a stack of professional Arnorian troops, and that's a bit of a pain in my ass, but we could starve them out too. I'm not sure if we have the capability to garrison Litash, though. It seems like it's gonna have a bit of an issue. We're gonna have to repair that fortress so that we can get the... I think there's suppression there, perhaps? I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain it gives us a bonus to public order, but it seems to me we're gonna have to garrison Litash for quite a while due to cultural unrest, which we will not be able to fix because of our lack of funds. Now, in the south, I captured Osten Edel off camera. There's very few men inside, but I killed Gandalf the Mean. That's the discount Gandalf, you will remember. And then there was some other Arnorian asshole. Who gives a fuck? He's dead also. So now, Akorahil the Blind Sorcerer, he's just ready to fucking kick ass. You know, he's ready to push Captain Aragorn around, another army I'm gonna have to destroy. He's got his siege equipment trailing behind him with reinforcements. If need be, we can use these to merge units. We've got a pretty appreciable, a respectable garrison in Osten Edel. We have troops en route to assist in garrison operations. I think we actually need... Well, we may need some of these Orc Band at some point, so let's take these 2 units with us. We're training these, or rather sending these guys back to Moria for retraining. And we also have troops in Moria that are going to head to the front. We have troops in the fort here, which are going to head to Osten Edel. And I gotta say, this is coming together. We're moving, we're shaking. We're making some waves. There we go. These guys will be in Osten Edel in 2 turns. We can leave this garrison here. And again, these guys are going to retrain alongside these Olakai. I doubt that's going to happen at any point because we're broke as fuck. I can't even avoid pancakes at Denny's. That's how broke we are. I don't know if that's a cheap object, but what I'm trying to say is we're eating ramen noodles and craft dinner for all meals. Breakfast, brunch, 11C's, supper, dinner, all that shit. I've also moved some spies around so I can now see Amansul, which is very lightly defended by 2 units of, well, 1 unit of militia, 1 unit of rangers. Who cares? I would just like to point out Osten Edel is interesting because, well, first and foremost, it was like a goblin settlement, so it had wooden walls, as you can see here, but it also has these ruins of Gwaith y Myrdain, perhaps that's how that's pronounced, which is interesting. It's the remnants of an elven house. The Gwaith y Myrdain was the brotherhood of Noldorin smiths, led by Celebrimbor, son of Curufin, son of Fëanor. Very interesting. So this apparently increases trade, I guess, due to tourism. I suppose many an orc, many an uruk is making the pilgrimage to Osten Edel to view such a thing. Who knows? Anyway, Akorahil the Blind Sorcerer is going to be making his way to Bairig, slowly but surely. But first, let's auto-resolve this battle. We lost 15 men. Maulers, Morning Guard. Luckily, no Olakai were killed in the making of this battle. And I think... we're gonna have to fight Discount Aragorn here. But he has a ton of ballistas. It looks to me like he's got at least 3 ballistas. And unfortunately... Oh, here we go. Okay, he's got 2 units of ballistas. Quite a bit of missile units. Heavy archers, Arnorian archers. Yeah, he does have 3 units of ballistas. He's also joined by Lord Erebir the Mean, who is apparently a useless yet loyal piece of shit Arnorian Lord. He's the faction heir, I should point out. Anyway, my concern here is that if we fight the river battle, the Arnorians have a hell of a lot of siege equipment to really ruin my day. So instead, we're just going to block them. But we're not going to prevent... Well, we're not going to fight a river battle, is what I'm trying to say. We have our reinforcements that may deter an attack. Hard to say. Oh god. I thought that was my scout, but it's an Isengard scout, and he is creepy. That's the guy that shows up at the party. He really should not be there. No one invited him. That's that guy. I smell your fear. Anyway, we're marching towards Bairig, which, again, is just a tiny little... I'm pretty sure it was an orc settlement at some point. Yeah, it's a wooden wall, orcish wall. It's staffed entirely by Arnorian archers, militia, bandits, and the like. Many weak units. We can take that, no problem. Once we've done that, we can march on North Tharbad, so on and so forth. Londair, the situation is dire. The elves have amassed a fuck of a force. They've got a ton of Noratirno warriors, which, as you know, are my favorite. I really love them. I do. I would marry them if they would only accept my hand in marriage. And they also have 4 units of catapults. 6 units of catapults. I misspoke. There are 6 units of catapults ready to fuck my face, and I hate it. I hate the catapults, Jacques. I hate it. So, there's a storm a-brewing. A storm's brewing in the west. And then, of course, the Haradrim are just sitting on the border. Wondering about their cube. Okay, let's take a look at our notifications. We have somehow recruited units in Minas Tirith. And now we've finished all of recruitment there. In Alberg, we've received that catapult, as we saw. And then, of course, we retrained stuff in Moria. We constructed a garrison quarter in MNRN. So finally we can recruit basically nothing. Hardly worth it. In Arnak, we got a catapult maker. So now we can get siege equipment closer to the front lines. And in Austin Edel, I repaired the walls. Q stalled, as Wormtongue will tell you. And... okay. For a second, I thought Umbar joined, and I was like, Umbar is not a faction, but of course, that is the target. Run has joined the invasion for Umbar. Very nice. Okay. I don't think, rather, that there's anything I want to do this turn. So we are going to end it. Hopefully nothing bad happens. I feel like there's something niggling in the back of my brain. Something horrible is going to happen. Maybe the elves will attack. Phew, okay. The elves did not attack. But we have received a notification that we can adopt Lunthak, which looks to me like they will be a... everything here is telling me they ought to be a general, but the command and respect is telling me that they ought to be a governor. So let's see. Lunthak is in Woldburg, okay. Very interesting. Let's see if we have any settlements nearby that need a governor. Thranduil's Hall is going to receive one. Imladris is our next target. Okay. It's a hell of a march, but I'm sure that Lunthak will make it without any issues. The heart of our empire is very secure. Aside from the few groups of bandits like Bragdon, and I'm sure there's some more. Well, Bragdon is the prime example. Fucking Bragdon. Oh, God. He is a continual pain in my ass, and I'm sure he will be for many moons to come, because I'm too lazy to fight that battle. Anyway, Muslin the Honest is going to arrive in Thranduil's Halls many, many moons from now. Much like Lunthak will arrive in Imladris. Our relations with the Dark Lord, very good. We have built a Dark Temple of Melkor in both Esgaroth and Dale, excellent. Q stalled, Wormtongue, we know, thank you. He looks so concerned, it's like he shit his pants or something. It's very, it's just disgusting. Can you imagine going to the Golden Hall of Meduseld? And Wormtongue's in there just stewing in his own shit. And no one makes mention of it because they're afraid. It's like, oh god, we can smell it. Oh, Wormtongue. We know what that vile stench is. Okay, let's grab all of these units, throw them at the rear of the formation, so that we can attack this captain, and auto-resolve this without much damage. Let's see. Casualties sustained in the Orc Band, Morning Guard, so on and so forth. Great. So, you'll remember there was a time where we would auto-resolve with Oleg High and whatnot, and we would always lose trolls. Well, it's because I had them at the start of my unit order, and as far as I know, I learned this during the hot seat, but the order which... It matters what order your troops are in, because when you auto-resolve, it pairs your first unit against the enemy first unit, second against their second, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. So by putting my troops at the end of the line, they are least likely to be in combat. By troops, I mean specifically my Oleg High and valuable units, so on and so forth. We are going to have to put the siege equipment in, what's his name, Adunafel's army? Next turn. Coldfell's has nothing but a wooden wall. It's staffed mostly by miners and... mostly miners and axe throwers, I guess. Very few good units. Aside from their general and the 16 Iron Guard, it seems that this is... well, maybe these Dwarven Axemen, I don't know. It's not a very respectable army, though. That's all I'm saying. Alrighty. Let's take a look at Gundabad. Yeah, we're gonna have issues with culture there. For some reason, I was thinking Gundabad was going to be primarily our culture, but of course it isn't. Man, that Arnorian spy sounds creepy as hell. Alright, so it seems to me that we're losing, yeah, 3,000 gold per turn. We're gonna have to take some casualties to resolve that. I think what we'll do is attack Aragorn. Attempt a night attack. That will prevent Arahale from joining the battle. I don't want to fight this battle this episode. I don't have the time. I am sorry. I really want this episode to be like 20 to 25 minutes. So that's something, one of the first things we'll do next episode. Alright? I promise. Now... yeah, we still have a bit of danger brewing in the west, and we are many moons away from being able to resolve that situation. You know what? We're gonna send some of these tougher units as reinforcements. We could use them. 3 turns until they arrive, and at some point off camera I'm going to have to sort out these armies. My god. So we've got 2 units of Oleg High. I think I want one definitely in Zaguf's army, and 1 unit definitely in... does Laguf have any? He does have 1 unit. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there, but I will figure it out. Now, up in the north... oh yeah, that's right, I fucked this up. Oh wait, no. No, now's the turn we can join these armies together in union. No problem. Okay, so there's some Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin, which I assume will be on the walls. We'll have to shoot them down with the catapults. Let's see, do we have any halberds en route? We do, we have 2 whole units. Let's stick these guys in Erebor. Boom. Let's move Dwarf of Wa up. And he can receive his reinforcements. Okay, so we definitely need these Orc Maulers. Any sort of armor piercing we can use against the dwarves, because as we all know, they're pieces of shit with tons of armor on. Apparently you can polish a turd. First you have to armor it up in many pounds of steel, and then polish said steel. It's like an exoskeleton of beauty. Alrighty, so that army will be complete very soon. Oh fuck, here's another. Captain Muznag is here to ruin my entire day. Okay, I think I'm happy ending this episode here. So I apologize, it's a little short, but it is all the time. It's all I have time for, essentially. So when we come back, we will fight this battle outside of Beirig so that we can besiege Beirig, and if at all possible, I would not be against doing a forced draw out. I'm pretty happy with fighting this army in the field, though, because it is, again, mostly, it seems, non-professional units. They have militia, all sorts of hobbits, these dismounted Dunedain knights, the general units, and the cavalry is my main concern, but again, these are just sergeants, so I guess they're like mid-tier, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this ever so brief episode. As always, my name is Incoherence, you guys are fucking awesome, and I will see you all later.